कोरोनामुळे आलेल्या संकटात मानसिक कोंडमारा झाला असेल, मनस्थिती थोडीशी ठीक नसेल, अभ्यास विसरला गेला असेल किंवा मध्येच आठवत नसेल, काळजी करू नका. उजळणी स्वरूपात 10वी अभ्यासमालेचा लाभ घ्या आणि यशस्वी व्हा.
Hello friends, today we are going to learn new lesson. Lesson's name is The Gentleman of Rio and Medio, which is written by John A. Sedillo. This title is apt and appropriate. Gentleman of Rio and Medio. In this title there are the two concepts. One is the gentleman and second one is that Rio and Medio. Gentleman. Now we concentrate on first concept, that is a gentleman. Gentlemen have such a good quality. Gentleman has one quality, that is a generous quality. His manners is also very good. He or she is known as a gentleman, or she is known as a gentlewoman. Now we concentrate on the Rio and Medio. Rio and Medio is the name of the place in Santa Fe County. And where is the Santa Fe County? In New Mexico. And where is the New Mexico? United States. And so it is the name of the place. And now the title becomes Gentleman of Rio and Medio. Here, this lesson is written by our storyteller. Storyteller's name is that John A. Sedillo. Now we concentrate on highlights on about John A. Sedillo. Who was John A. Sedillo? His born was in 1902 in New Mexico, United States. He worked as a lawyer and he is a public, there is an office. He wrote about that the Mexico and the southern, western and United, there is a states. And his death 1982. It is a little bit introductions about that our John A. Sedillo. Now we concentrate on that the outline of this story. When we highlight the title Gentleman of Rio and Medio, who was a gentleman of Rio and Medio, it's a very important here. The gentleman means in this lesson there are the three characters. Two are major character and one is a minor character. Three characters are like the first character, that is a Don Anselmo. Second character is a John A. Sedillo. And the third character is that is our Americans. It is a passive character. Both are the active character, Don Anselmo and John A. Sedillo. Don Anselmo, now we are going to concentrate on the introductions about that is a character. Don Anselmo, who was a Don Anselmo? Don Anselmo was a gentleman of Rio and Medio. He lived there. What was his physical appearance? How he looked like? Or the manners of Don Anselmo? He was a respected person in his village. He was a man of principle. He was a good person in his village. He put on the different types of a coat. That is the green, old and faded coat. The Prince Albert he put on. Prince Albert is a name of that is a long double-breasted coat. He put on always. He looked like means he was a dominated person, or he's in his village. Like that, our John A. Sedillo, storyteller, compassed with that the Senator Catron. He was also dominated person, respected person in his village. That is our gentleman or Don Anselmo. Then the year he put on that is a hand gloves. Yes, that is a worn out old, outdated, the hand gloves he put on. Then always he carried a stick. That is the worn out umbrella, skeleton of the worn out umbrella stick. That is a stick he used, or cane he used. It is a little bit information about that the Don Anselmo. Now we concentrate on that is a John A. Cedillo. Who was the John A. Cedillo? The John A. Cedillo was a storyteller. He wants to tell such a story. And so here, the John A. Cedillo by profession, he was an advocate. He was a lawyer, and it is a little bit introductions about that is John A. Cedillo. And the Americans are that is a land buyer. It's a passive character. There are 3 characters are mentioned in this lesson. The lesson's name is A Gentleman of Rio and Medio. It is a short story, and this story is based on that is the actual legal case. In this story, one transaction was happened here, transactions of a land. In any transaction, already we know that we need buyer, we need that is a seller, and we need that is a middleman or agent, or that is a mediator. And in this lesson, one transaction of land is going on, and here the land buyer, who is that is a land seller, Don Anselmo. Who is a land buyer? That is Americans. And between both, we want the middleman, or that is a mediator, and he performs such a role. That is our John A. Cedillo. John A. Cedillo is a mediator or the middle. It is means the transaction of land. In that the transaction, they perform their role as a land buyer or land seller or mediator. Generally, we know that the persons have great affections. Generally, we know that our persons have the great affections on their native place. In these lessons also, the author John A. Cedillo shows about the Don Anselmo's lovely attachment towards the people and the land. Now the outline, what is the outline of this story? We are going to start here. Our lesson is divided into 2 parts. The first part, or the first part, that is the meeting. There are the 2 meetings which is shown in this lesson. The first meeting between Don Anselmo and that is John A. Cedillo, our storyteller. And the second part is that there is also second meeting between the Don Anselmo and that is our John A. Cedillo. Now we concentrate on that is the meeting, or first part, that is a meeting between the Don Anselmo and that is the John A. Cedillo. It took months of negotiation to come to understanding, yes, with the Don Anselmo. Official discussion. Now he was ready to sell his land to the Americans, to the land buyer. And now here the legal procedure we want here, and so he performed his role as a middleman. By profession he was an advocate, and he was also trying to complete his the transaction of the land. And so that's why he called our Don Anselmo to complete the transaction. Before that, we are going to discuss about the Rio and Medio. Don Anselmo lived in a Rio and Medio with his relatives, with his ancestors or descendants. Here in a first or second paragraph, the one information about the land, about that is house, about the creek, about the orchard. It is all things are the fertile, or his land was a fertile land. Here, his ancestors were lived from the hundreds of years in that the same place, and there our Don Anselmo lived. His house, which type of his house was there? A rich, but that is a quaint. In the land, the one little creek was there, and the creek ran through his land. His orchard was also narrow and very, very beautiful. It is the little bit information about that the house, little creek, or that is the orchard. One day what happened? John A. Cedillo called to that the Don Anselmo. Don Anselmo came with his style, with his manner, with his appearance. Don Anselmo bought, when he entered to his office, John A. Cedillo's office was there. When he entered to his office, he bowed to that the all people in that the office. Means he was a good person, he was a respected person. He had such the manners. And after that, he removed his hat and the gloves, everything slowly and carefully, because the gloves were the torn gloves, ragged gloves, and he put on regularly. Then they discuss, that is Don Anselmo discuss about that the family or the reign also. Don Anselmo sold his 8-acre land to that the buyers without any reason. He was not a poor. There was no reason why he was selling such a land. There was no any reason, but he sold the 8-acre land to that the buyer, that is our Americans, for $1,200. And then he was ready. Yes, Don Anselmo was ready, and they were also ready to take the land. Then after that, what happened? One thing was happened there, such as the transaction was completed or everything was there. After that, this means the John A. Cedillo sent a surveyor or that is engineer to survey the land, and the surveyor found that his land was a double land. Means 8 acres becomes 16 acres, and so that's why he wanted to give such a message. He wanted to give such information about that the extra land that the Don Anselmo, and so that's why the John A. Cedillo called to that the Don Anselmo, and so Don Anselmo came to that the office. Then he was also ready. Means the Americans were ready to give the extra amount for the extra land, but he was not ready. Don Anselmo was not ready to take extra amount. Why? Because he was a man of principle. He was stick up with the same price. Means he sold 8-acre lands for that $1,200, and he was ready to take the same amount, that is $1,200, not $24. Actually, the land was there. Extra land was there according to the surveyor, and such the land was extended across the river. But he did not know about that land. But already he had given the words to the Americans, and so that's why he was not ready to take the extra, that is the amount. And so here such the argument or such an information was given to our Don Anselmo, and at last they argued. Yes, the John A. Cedillo argued more and more, but it was useless because he was not ready to take the extra amount for the extra land. And at last, finally, he signed to the deed, signed to the document. Everything was there. He was also happy. Yes, okay, no problem. Everything was going on. Means this is the first meeting between the Don Anselmo and the John A. Cedillo. Second meeting is also mentioned in our lesson Now we are going to concentrate or highlights on the second meeting between the Don Anselmo and the John A. Sedillo. After months, John A. Sedillo's Americans, that is Americans or the land buyer, they were very happy, and they were also ready to take a possession of that the property or that the land or that the house. Americans were very happy. They replastered the old house, or the pruned the trees, or patch the fence, everything. But one day, what happened? Yes, the Americans came back. Americans came back to his office with a complaint. What was the complaint? It is very important. They came back. The Americans came back with a complaint. The complaint was a very important here, exam point of view. So that's why we'll concentrate on that. The complaint. The complaint was that. What was the complaint? We try to understand. That is a complaint. The complaint was that children of Rio and Medio, yes, were overrunning their property. They came every day and played under the trees. Built a little play. That is a little play. Built a little that is a play around them, or fence around them. Yes, took the blossom. When they were spoken to them, yes, only they laughed and talked back good naturally in Spanish. It was a complaint which was given by the Americans to our middleman, John A. Sedillo, and it was a duty of the John A. Sedillo as a middleman to solve the problem. And so, yes, the John A. Sedillo called to the Don Anselmo. It means that he sent a messengers to the Don Anselmo to call. And again the Don Anselmo came to his office, and here the John A. Sedillo told everything to our Don Anselmo. Yes, about that complaint, means the children of the Rio and Medio were overrunning their property, or that they took a blossom, they put a play fence around the trees, or what it may be, everything he told to that and here after that, yes, the Don Anselmo, one day Don Anselmo came to his office with the same style, with same the dress he put on, that is the old coat, or that is a Albert Prince coat, or the green coat, everything, or the hand gloves, or that is a ragged hand gloves he put on. And with him always, when the innumerable king came with him, or he was standing behind him. Such the pictures we will get in the first meeting, and now same picture we will get in a second meeting. And then he told everything about that, but he tried to convince him. Yes, what is the procedure? He tried to the rules. He tried to say about that the rules and regulations about that the legal procedure. Everything, one who signs on that day, everything was a finish. Yes, everything he told that. But his approach was a different. The Don Anselmo's approach was a different. And the approach was like that. He said that, yes, everything I sold to that land. Okay, no problem. But he told to them, I did not sell the trees on the land. Why he said like that? Because his view was a different. His view was a different. The people, or the children of Rio and Medio, everything was, his property was belonged to the children of Rio and Medio, or the people of the Rio and Medio, according to him. And so that he did not know more about that. And so that's why he said that. He told that, yes, I sold such the land, but he did not sell the trees on the orchard. But according to the legal procedure, one who signed on the deed, everything was belonged to the person, or particular the buyer. And so here, after that, he was ready. He was accepted all things, and he was agreed with John A. Sedillo, and at last Americans became the owner of the land. It is a outline of this the story. There is Gentleman of Rio and Medio, which is given by John A. the schedule. It means that this lesson or this story, short story, is based on that the legal procedure. This, the outline you try to understand, and you use such a the outline in your examination. Now we turn to that the questions answer. This lesson is a very important for you. This lesson is actually a very simple lesson. You try to understand. This lesson is allotted for that the 2-mark questions, 3-mark questions. Yes, and so particularly the RC, reference to context, or the 2-mark questions is very important. I will focus on that the 2-mark questions. The question number 1, 2-mark questions. Question number 1. What were appearance and manners of a Don Anselmo? The question is that what were appearance and manners of a Don Anselmo? And Don Anselmo. You make a 2 paragraph. Paragraph number 1, you can write about that appearance of a Don Anselmo, and you make a second paragraph, that is the manners of a Don Anselmo. Here's the manners. The appearance means here how he looked like, or what was the appearance of a, that is a Don Anselmo. Yes, he put on, that is the coat, old coat, or the green faded coat. Yes, he looked like, that is a Senator Catrons, means he was a dominated person. Or he put on, that is a hand gloves, we say that. Or the Prince Albert he put on, and everything you can mention there. He carried the same stick, everything. And the second paragraph you can concentrate on that the manners of a Don Anselmo. What are the manners? Means when he visited, he was a respected person in his village. Yes, he was a gentleman in his village. And then here, when he entered to that the office in 2 times, he bowed to the all respectively. He bowed to the all respectively. It shows us he had such the manners, and so you concentrate on it. Now we turn to the question number 2. How can you say that Don Anselmo was passionate about his land and the children of Rio and Medio? Yes, his view was different. Yes, already he told to that Americans or the John A. Cedillo, everything. Yes, he was admitted that, yes, I sold to that the entire land or 8 acres to that the buyers of the Americans, but he did not sell the trees on that the buyer. It means that his attachment was very important to his people, to his children. Why? Because his approach was different. Everything was belonged to the people of Rio and Medio, or the children of Medio. So that's why you concentrate on it. Now we turn to the question number 3. Why do you think the Americans wanted to buy the Don Anselmo's land? Yes, why? Because here the one reason, this question is very important for you. Particularly exact answer is not mentioned in it, but some points are mentioned in it, where its answer will get in a second paragraph. The paragraph is that, means here his land was a fertile land, orchard land, and there was an orchard, or the one little creek ran through his land. It means that it shows us this land was a fertile or good land, and so that's why buyer also, or Americans also, were ready to take the amount for that the $1,200, and at last they became a owner of that or they purchased such the land. So that's why. Question number 4. How can you say that Don Anselmo and America were generous? Yes, both were generous. Generous means to give to the others, frankly, frank-minded. And so here the generous. Yes, first you concentrate on the Don Anselmo was a generous. Why? Because here his land was Miss John A. Cedillo informed to that Don Anselmo. Yes, his land was a double land, extra land, and they were ready to give the extra amount for that land, everything. But he was not ready to take a extra amount for that the extra land. And then means here he was a generous person. The Don Anselmo was a very generous person. Then the Americans were generous. Americans were generous. The Americans were also generous. Why? Because they also told to him about his land. His land was a double. Yes, they were ready to. Yes, they were also ready to give the extra amount for that the extra land. Means they were also generous. Means both were very generous. It is a 2-mark questions. And now we turn to that is a 3 marks questions. RC, reference to context. Yes, the first reference or first key statement or punchline. Yes, that is we have made discovery. It is a statement. And on that the statement, 3 questions are set. The question number A, who had made the discovery? Who had made the discovery? Yes, now the John A. Sedillo. Its answer is that John A. Sedillo. B, what was the discovery? The discovery was that he sent to that the surveyor or that is the engineer, and they found that his land was a double across the river, or his land extended across the river, and so such a means they discovered. What was the question number C, how did Don Anselmo react told it? Such a information was given here, and I will give such a things to that the all means here he was not ready to take an extra amount or everything, and such a the questions you can go thoroughly and you will get idea. I think this video is very useful for your examination. So thank you very much.
सबस्क्राइब करा तरुण भारत न्यूज चॅनलला आणि ताज्या घडामोडी सर्वात आधी जाणून घेण्यासाठी बेल आयकॉनवर क्लिक करा.